Heyo, it's me, Harper Savage, and today my sketchbook's out. Why? Because I want to turn this sketch into some digital art. So I wanted to show you guys the sketch before I put it onto my iPad right now. So here it is, put it on my iPad. I will switch to a better perspective in a moment though. So pull up your chairs, grab your pencils, your tablets, and your coffee, and let's get into the digital session. So here we are at a better angle and perspective so you guys can actually see what's happening here. So let's get started. So I figured since there's like a huge portion of the video where I don't talk at all because I was just doing my thing, I should do a voiceover. So it's voiceover Harper here. You know, recording the voiceover much later than when I actually recorded the video. So let me talk a little bit about the Wolf Moon. I am going by the names of the Farmer's Almanac. There are many like variants and versions of the moons with different names during, you know, each month, but that's the one I'm gonna follow for my whole like moon series. Now the Wolf Moon is usually depicted as a howling wolf, which as you can see, I made a howling wolf, and it was on January 25th in 2024. I know, I'm posting this late. I didn't have time to do the voiceover until now, okay? Like, cut me some slack. Now, why is it called that? It's believed that wolves are more likely to be heard howling at this time of year. Now, why do wolves howl? It was commonly believed that they howled because they were hungry, but it has since been disproven, I guess, is the best word to, like, say here. What they actually are howling for is about location, whether they're looking for pack members or they're identifying where they're at, or they're, you know, coordinate hunting, sometimes even defining territories. Now that's really all I wrote down about the Wolf Moon. I didn't go into like a huge rabbit hole for any of the moon phases. I kind of just was like, what's it usually called? Why is it called that? And that's it. But let's talk a little bit more about the actual drawing here. I did sketch it in my sketchbook first. I didn't show that process because I tend to just sketch in my sketchbook when I have time. I don't like set aside recording time for that because it's just, I would be recording at random times and have like all these little mini recording sessions, and it would be annoying to find the files all the time. And I also kind of like to chill while I sketch. I don't want it to be stressful, but yeah, then I, you know, put it on my iPad so I can do the digital part. And I decided that I'm probably gonna do a video for each of the moons. So like once a month will be like a moon video, because there aren't actually that many digital art videos on my channel, which is like kind of blasphemy if you think about it, because I do a lot of digital art like all the time and I just don't record any of it. I figured this would be a nice way to get more digital art on my channel if I did the moon phases. All right, let's actually talk about the artwork here and not go off on a tangent. So I'm doing the line art now. You saw at first I was doing like another sketch over the sketch. I just do that so I can improve the drawing before I go in with the line art layer. I'm adding a texture. I actually saw this similar kind of texture on a coloring page I did a really long time ago. Now that brush I'm using for the moon was one that I made, but I think the actual like shape or whatever it's called was in the library, like Procreate's paintbrush library. I don't know if it was already attached to a brush, but I made a brush out of it, if that makes any sense. It's like a crystallized looking moon, and that's really what I was going for. Now this moon is probably going to be the base for the other full moons that I do. It's just I'll change the color and like everything else about it. It's just the like the texture will stay in the same spot. Now I'm just filling it in with the colors I thought I wanted to use for this, but it changes. I just wasn't happy with how kind of boring it looked, being like grays and blues. But first I spiffy up the outline, like that misty kind of look it has to it. And that's the wolf's breath there. That's what I was going for, because it's supposed to be cold at this time. And then I play around with like the extra like cloudy fog around the moon. Like I had envisioned something for it, but I couldn't quite portray it digitally for some reason. So I compromised and settled on using it, what is it, the nebula tool, maybe it was, to kind of like give it some like texture to it. So now I start adding more colors to it because, like I said, I thought it was just kind of boring being gray and blue. So I added some purple. This is a good color. Oh, can't forget the booper. But here I go in with like shines and shading. There's really not much else about this. Like, this is basically what I follow when I do digital art. Where I do like the sketch layer, then the sketch layer, then the line art, coloring, shading. It's a pretty typical process in my opinion. This one was just a little like weird because I had two colors going on, so I had to figure out what color would work best for shading both of them, even though there were two different kinds of like colors on the wheel. But once I turned down the opacity, it like really looked a whole lot better. I thought I wanted more like colors in there, but it just didn't work out, so I gave up on that. And now I'm just arranging my layers. And I'm thinking about changing that moon now. I do a lot of clipping masks to help change the colors of things. It's just easier that way than like redrawing it. Oh, and we can't forget about the little baby stars that I put around this whole thing. I almost didn't put them because I kind of forgot about them. I decided to make them a pale yellow. Because I think that's what color I was selected on when I did like the cloud nebula stuff, and it's also gonna be the same color that I do the background nebula. I think that's what the brush is called, that's why I'm calling it that. And because I'm gonna put this on merch, I have to be careful about how it comes out of the brush. Like, I don't want it to be touching any of the edges because then I'll have a sharp cutoff on merch, and it just looks weird on shirts when there's just like a flat edge for no reason. But yeah, then I go in and I kind of reshape it a little bit to make it what I want. Alright, I think that I'm done. If you like this design and you want to get it on stuff, you can go ahead and check out my social links down below. It'll be on my Redbubble and probably my Amazon eventually. But that is going to be it for me today. If you want to check out another cool video where I do some digital art, you can go ahead and tap the thumbnail here. If you want to catch up on anything you missed, you can go ahead and tap the thumbnail here. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to do all the cool YouTubey things of comment, liking, subscribing, and turning on that notification bell. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!